Hi, it's gerdasmitart again. I've started doing some work yesterday. That was day 8. Like you can see, there's the pot that I did the previous time, and the house is still a little bit of that. But what I have done is I've turned the canvas and I've drawn in these lines with just white acrylic paint, and then I just glazed this with some paint spray fluids. The reason for that is to give the idea of shadow, dark and light, so just give me an idea where I'm at and what I'm doing. Oh, I realize now, yeah, this is the pot I'm actually working this way around. Sorry, I thought I've turned it. This is the way I'm working now. My idea is that this is like cloth, and all these little blocks is going to be like patchwork. But I am taking clues from what's in the square, what I'm going to put into it. I have started yesterday this one. It's not finished yet. But what I have switched over to oil paints now. So from now on, I will only paint in oil paints. I believe you can throw all sorts of mixed media stuff, water-based, on the canvas. But the moment you switch over to oil paints, I don't really like to introduce any water-based stuff again. So yes, from now on everything you're going to see is going to be oil-based. I'm not going to video every day because it's going to be fairly boring, just sitting me watching paintings, same kind of things. I might do like a time-lapse video, I will see. But yes, this is what we're doing today. This is starting with oils, and I'm just blocking in this section. Paints. This is my oil paint. There's a thick glass. Actually, this was on my scale that broke. So yeah, I took the glass. It's really nice, heavy, and it doesn't have sharp corners. If you use a piece of glass with sharp corners, just put some duct tape around it. It works the same. Good idea is put a white piece of paper behind it so you can actually see the color of your paint, except if it's getting muggy like mine, it doesn't really make much of a difference. I've painted most of this with this number 2 paintbrush. You'll be able to see it there, I think. Yeah, this is my favorite one. If you see, there's also a number there. If you order them on the internet, it is really good to know the number, because the numbers say if it's like flat, like you can see there's flat, and you get ones. But this one's a bit old, but you can get an idea. It's cut curved. So you might think you get a curved brush and you end up getting a flat one. That's happened to me. So you can see this one's number is fading, so you probably won't be able to see that. So that's just good to know, to keep in mind when you do order brushes online. Don't know if I talked about brushes, but if you buy a brush, make sure, even a flat brush, it needs to be cut like slightly cut some off on the edges, not just cut off blunt. Then it makes a better mark. Like these ones I like which is curved, because when you work, especially if you draw a line, if you do it with a flat brush, you get a sharp line there. Well, with the curved one you can get a more softer edge. It all depends on what you want to do, but I think I'll keep on working with this one today. Some days I end up with lots of brushes, and some days I will just keep on painting the same thing with the whole painting with the same brush. The decision here is now to keep this or not, because I actually like the color combinations, which is quite soft, and this is quite bright against everything else. So this is what I will do. I'll show you what I'm sort of aiming to. Sorry. I've done this painting a while ago, and I really like the color combination in here, so for now anyway, I'm gonna work with these colors and see where I'm heading. But the fun thing about painting is you decide something today and tomorrow you in a different mood and you do something different, and that's all right. That's fun about painting. I don't really keep myself to any form of rules. I just do what I feel like. Like always, I'll paint for about 15 minutes, and then I will, if I do more, I will do it on time lapse. It's already quite late in the day here, so I might not do more than this today. Personally, I find I enjoy working with acrylics for underlayers if I work this big, but I find acrylics get a bit frustrating because it doesn't go, it just sort of stops and you mix up a plot and it tends to dry, which oils, like these oils I'm using now, I've pushed out yesterday and it will still be going for a few days. But with smaller works, I actually like the acrylics because of its drying time. You can keep on working and you don't really have to stop to wait for stuff to dry. And I don't know, it's probably just me, but I find I can work more fine detail with acrylics than with oils. But it might just be me. Each person has his own favorite mediums, and you just have to find out what works for you. Just try it. Buy a few tubes in your favorite colors and just play with it. That's the only way you really can find out if it's something you enjoy or not. And the thing is, don't give up after the first painting, because I wanted to give up on oils after my first painting. I started my training in watercolors, and then I bought some oil paints and I did an oil paint and I thought, oh no, I really don't like this. And then my husband was so kind, for Christmas or birthday or something, he bought me a whole box full of Winston & Newton oil paints, and I sort of feel guilty and start playing with it, and that was the best gift ever, because oils have served me really well over the last 20 years. I've enjoyed working with it, and there's just so many things you can do with it. And if you buy a good quality oil paint, you only need a little bit and it goes really a very long way. I think I can paint with less oil paint a bigger space than I can paint with acrylics. If you like, if you can see, yes, I'm working with these little bits of paint, you know, it looks almost, you cannot see it, but I'll be able to paint loads and loads with that bit of paint. When I have paint on my brush, I tend to sort of work the paint till it's finished. And you saw I just got a little bit of paint on my brush now, and I've painted all of this, and it's still going. That's how far you can get with oil paints. Just keeps on giving and giving, and you can work it in more and more. You can thin your oil paints down with a oil paint medium. You get one they call a fat medium or a lean medium. The lean medium will dry quicker. So you don't want to use a lean medium and then a fat medium on top of that, because then it will crack. That's what a lot of people do. They mix their oil paints with linseed oil. That's sort of the old-fashioned way of doing it. Or liquid. Liquid is probably okay, but especially with linseed oil, be careful if you put a layer on top of that doesn't have the same mixture in, because your paint might crack. I'm not saying don't use it, I'm just being careful, and think about what you're doing when you do use mediums. There's lots of advice on mediums and stuff on the internet anyway. If you're not sure, and if you like, you can always ask me questions on my Facebook page. You see, mostly I will mix my colors on my canvas, not always. But you get something more fresh if you mix. Be careful to, except if you want to go to grays and dull colors, then you can mix your colors, pre-mix them, but be careful not to over mix colors, then they sort of lose their vibrancy. And also the thing, when you paint, have some soft edges and have some hard edges. That just makes your painting slightly more interesting. Play with hard and soft mark making. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.